Hello everyone, I'm back today. It's Diana Langman and I'm the creative ambassador for August, and I'm going to be doing project number 2 for you. As I mentioned to you, I'm not a big fan of yellow. I have been working with it a little bit more lately because Stampin' Up seems to be incorporating it in a lot of their designer series papers and products. So today I'm going to be making a window sheet card. Okay, very simple to do. Okay, flips over. There's nothing on this side, and there's a reason. I'll explain it as we go. And on the back side, there's room for us to write whatever greeting or whatever we want to put on the back for this card. So if it's a congratulations, it could be for an anniversary. It could be for retirement, an engagement, a promotion. It could be different things. So we're going to work with that today. So we're going to be using one of the sheets of the yellow, that Darling Duckling paper that was in the paper pack that I featured in Project 1. And I do apologize for Project 1. I did say I'd post those finished cards, and I'll be very honest, life has got in the way, and I didn't get them done, but I will be posting them sometime later today. I'm just about finished them, so we'll post them later. So on this one, I wasn't really wild about this paper. I suppose if we had a nice big oval die, we could cut an oval out. I guess there's different things we could do. A little complicated to fussy cut. I thought about doing that as well, but that would be very complicated. So I decided to do something just a little bit different. As I mentioned, I just took the paper and I cut it at 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and then I used lemon lolly. I tried using the basic white. I tried very vanilla with the flowers, and none of those two colors really went very well with this card. So I decided to bring in lemon lolly, because I kind of see a little bit of lemon lolly in here. And I have a problem connecting there. I might be cutting in and out. They're doing some road work on the one line next door. And then I use some of the other pattern paper that is in the package as well. It's the back side. And it is the back side of this really pretty paper that's got the Secret Sea as the background color. And I'm going to be doing a card or two with this next week. And then I use Secret Sea as my base, a window sheet. If you don't have the window sheet packages, what you can use, if you have the polymer stamps that come with the solid clear sheet, and then it has a clear sheet that's a little thinner and crinklier. When I put them in my case, let me see if I can grab my pear stamp here. When I put them in my case, according to the colored document that's behind here, or not document, colored, lost my train of thought, the actual design of the stamp, the outline, I guess. I used the flimsy sheet to go on top. Some people will use the hard sheet that the stamp was enclosed in when you first bought it. I saved that, and you can use that as a window sheet. Or you can get the packages of window sheet and cut to size, whatever works for you. But I like to recycle a little bit. The window sheet is going to be cut exactly the same as your card base, and we'll do that in a moment. It's going to be cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And it's sandwiched between some layers so that you can't see that it's been glued down. All right. So let's start working on this card. Very easy to do. And then I'll discuss some of the things that I did down in with the die cuts that I used from the paper that I showed you on Tuesday, where 4 of the dies cut out the pear, the leaf, the small pears and the pinky flowers. So all you're left with are the yellow flowers, and if you are so inclined, you can fussy cut those and keep those as something that you can put on your card. I may show you what I did on the card that I showed you right now. I might as well show you now while we're here talking about it. Just before I went on air, I put my coffee cup down and some of it splashed out, and coffee got a spot on my card there. I tried taking an ink eraser, but it wouldn't remove it because I think it's soaked into the paper. So I need to cover that up, and we might talk about that at the end, how I'm going to cover that spot, because my card is all done. And I really am going to be giving this to someone, so I want to do something up here that will take away from that spot. Okay, to make the card, you're going to start with a piece of the Secret Sea, and we're going to score it at 5.5. As soon as I find out, I seem to be having a trimmer problem these days. There it is. Now, normally when I make two cards the same, I score first and cut. That way I'm saving a step. I didn't do it in this case. I should practice what I preach, I guess. So we're going to score. So I need to get my cutting blade out of the way. And we're scoring at 5.5. I ordered a new trimmer because I kept complaining that my paper seemed to be out about 1/32. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but sometimes when you're doing cards, that 1/32 makes a difference. So I ordered a new trimmer, and the arm on this is so stiff that I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might try using WD-40. They say that works for everything. So we trimmed it. So we want the flap to be, I was going to do it 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, but I wanted some of that pattern paper to show through at the back. So I went 1.25 inches and 1.25 inches. So we've scored. So we're going to move this over to 6 3/4 because 5.5 and 1 1/4 is 6 3/4. So along with card making, you're getting a math lesson. Okay, and then the paste that's remaining, I want another 1 1/4 inch strip. So I'm going to go to the right hand side of my trimmer. The other thing on my new trimmer, what I did was take a piece of the tear and tape and run it along the markings on this side so I can see what they are. Okay. And I'm just going to, actually I'm going to take, we're going to do some more cutting in a minute. Clean my board. And I'm just using the isopropyl, and I think this is the 99%. I bought a big bottle off of Amazon, and I just fill this and it gets rid of all of the adhesive. This is also good for your window shade after you're finished making your card. You're going to have fingerprints all over it. And I actually got glue on mine, and I thought, oh, crap. Well, I thought more than that, but anyway, crap came to mind. And this takes all the fingerprints off and takes all the glue off if you get some glue on there by chance, and makes this look really nice when you're going to give it to somebody, so when they get it, they can put their fingerprints on it. Okay, so we don't need that arm up any longer, but like I said, this arm is very stiff. So we'll work with it a little bit. As I mentioned, you're going to need a window sheet that is 4 1/4 by 5.5. I don't think you can see the window sheet, so I'll put it on the the backing there. Don't worry about the fingerprints. Like I said, we can get them off. This scrap piece can be used for another card, so I don't throw that out. You're going to need a piece of your Whisper White, basic white. Whisper White is what it used to be called. And you're just going to make that 4 by 5 1/4. And I can see that I have a little glue down here. And I had some leftover strips from this paper while I was doing this project and another project. So I just stuck a little piece on, but I made sure that the pear was going the right direction. And that's a 1/2 inch strip. And then you're going to need a piece of the lemon lolly. And this measures 4 inches by 5 1/4. A piece of the designer series paper that is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, because on this one I didn't want too much of the lemon lolly showing. I just wanted a 1/16 of an inch all the way around, just to give a little more differential between this and putting it on the Night in Navy. When you put it on the Night in Navy, I mean, it's okay, but that little bit of lemon lolly, I find just gives it a little oomph. You'll need 4 pieces of 1 inch by, oh, that one's not, there's a piece left over. 4 pieces of 1 inch by 4, and these will be the sections that are used here, 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 and here. And then you're going to need your pear paper, and you're going to need to cut a large pear, a leaf, a small pear, and the flowers. You can see I've got quite a bit still left. I've had enough here to do the 2 cards that we've done today, plus another card. And all the little extra pieces that I've cut out, I put in a package that will go in my stamp case that has my dies. And what I like to do is sometimes when I buy 2 of a particular embellishment, I'll put both into the same plastic sheet. And then I have these little bags left over, and I can put the die cuts in, and then that will go in my stamp case, as I said, and then I can use this for other projects going forward. You're going to need to use Secrecy ink pad. We're going to use the Strawberry Slush ink pad. We're going to be using the low profile sparkle dots that come in the Secrecy mossy, it's either mossy meadow or old olive, and then the Darling Duckling. No, I cut this, there we go, Darling Duckling. And they come in 3 sizes, or 2, trying to see if those are smaller. No, just the 2 sizes. I liked it when they made the really tiny, tiny little ones, but I think it's difficult with these new designs of embellishments. And then any folder that you have. What I did when I looked at this paper, I thought it was maybe like lemon lolly on there, but it's not. It looks like it's petal pink. It is petal pink. It doesn't look like it. It is petal pink. And you can see that the lines are wavy. They're not straight squares. And I thought I want to hide that uneven, messy looking, not even square look. So there was a folder which I wish they had kept. It was a trio that was online. And I think this may have been discontinued maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And I love this cross-hatching. It covers a lot of things. So I ran the 4 strips through the cross-hatching. You can see it maybe a little bit there, I'm not sure. And I did the entire piece inside with that cross-hatching. And for some reason, it took away all that darling duckling look to me and made this look quite nice. So let's assemble the card. Okay, so we're just going to fold this on the score line. I like to use pieces of copy paper I have left over, especially on dark color, to because I can really put a lot of pressure and get a nice crisp thing to that. All right, so I'm going to take my clear sheet and I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of this, staying away from most of the edges because when we put the other piece on top of pattern paper, now I will tell you that I cut a 1/16 of an inch off this piece because if you make it the full 5.5 inches, this does not fold over properly. So I'm sticking that up there. There's a 1/16 of an inch down, and I'm just going to adhere that. And I don't know whether you can see, but it's already got lots of finger marks on this, but that alcohol, the isopropyl, and the little pad will take all that off. And now I want to glue the 1.25 inch piece that I cut off, and I want to glue it to the bottom. Now, I'm finding lately that some of the papers, even though this is a brand new blade, still leaves little fuzzies. So I use that little pad that I have, a sanding thing, just to go over and take the fuzzies off. I just find some of the darker colors, I don't know whether it's because they have to saturate the paper more to get the color, but when you cut it, like the basic black I know is really bad for me. Secret C, one package was great. This one that I just got in, not so great. It's giving me fuzzies. I apologize if I'm not responding to your comments. I'll go back and comment. I didn't set up my iPad for this, and I should have. So I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive on this. Keeping away from the edges. And I'm lining it up right on the bottom. Now you could leave it as a flap. You don't have to do this bottom, but the way I designed the card, I have everything attached to the bottom, and it would just be everything showing through with glue on the sheet. So I opted to put that on the bottom. It weights it quite nicely, so it stands up nice. And to me, it looks more finished. Okay, so then we can glue our pieces on that we also ran through. Now, for anyone that's using liquid glue, I know we should be working with Stampin' Up, and they sell it. They sell a tube that holds twice the amount of glue at Michael's, and with a 40% coupon, it works out to almost the same as what we pay for a small bottle at Stampin' Up. So just, and I go through quite a bit of the glue. Here we go. And we're going to do the same to the top. Like I said, just cutting the pieces is probably the most difficult thing that you'll have to do. Now my sides are 1/8 of an inch on either side, and my top and bottom of these pieces is the 1/16 of an inch. I just need to move that up. Here we go, and then I'm just going to flip it over, and we're going to cover the glue on the back side. Everybody enjoying this nice hot weather that we're having? I can hardly wait till we get a little bit of a break with some cooler weather. I have some more outside stuff to do, and it's just too hot to do it. And we're just going to cover that up. There we go. And we're going to cover there. It's a good way to use your pattern paper up too. I know we all hoard. And I got a little too close there. There we go. So that's your flap done. Now the inside piece, very easy. We're just going to take the pattern paper and put it onto the lemon lolly. Now you could cut away if you had something else that you wanted to do, maybe the spotlight on nature die circle, or some other die cut that you wanted, or a couple of die cuts, and do this so that you're not wasting this whole piece. But I actually could have done it because I was going to do something with lemon lolly on this card and changed my mind. All right, so let's just get this glued down. Now this particular technique with the window sheet can be used with any pattern paper you have. It doesn't necessarily have to be the perfect pairs. It's been a long time since I've done anything with the window sheet, so I just thought I should better use it. Okay, again, I like 1/16. You want to do 1/8, you would have to cut your pattern paper down a little bit more, but I just like a hint of color. You'll find that I don't use any dimensionals on this particular card because we've got tons of layers going on. And the card is pretty weighty when we're finished, so you don't want to add too much weight so that you have to pay extra postage. Okay. I'm hoping everybody can see this all right. Now, I haven't embossed this one. I'm just going to leave it plain, and then you can decide which way you like it. But if you wanted to emboss, you can do one or two ways. You can emboss it first and then put your strip on. But on the back of my card, I decided I wanted it embossed, but I had already stuck the strip down, so I just ran it through with the strip on it, and I made sure that the die cutting or the embossing came over equal distance on either side. So we'll do plain on this one and see what people like. Now some people say they don't like to use the liquid glue to put down the basic white thinner paper that you use on the inside, or in this case the outside of my card. If you have an old credit card, what you can do, or you can use your bone folder, is you can take it. I had the bone folder here not 2 seconds ago. That's strange. All right, my bone folder discovered legs. This table is only like 4 feet by something, and bone folder is already gone. what you would do with your bone folder, and I can actually use an embossing folder too, is you can just take it and run it. Okay, and that gets the glue to spread, and you don't get that lumpy sometimes look that you get when you put down your basic white. Okay, now Wendy Lee is one of the demonstrators that does all these tips, like I think she's at tip 135. She suggested that we take our die cuts that are white. I'm not really happy about all the white to me. All that white around there kind of reminds me of something that's not as an expensive looking project as something that doesn't have the white around there. And she suggested doing smoky slate blends or doing the pool party to go around. And I like the pool party more than I did the smoky slate. The smoky slate to me is too dark. The pool party is brighter. And it does make your project, it grounds the project is the word I'm looking for. And it would have been really nice on here, but I did my greeting in white. And when I put that on, it makes this look dirty. So I opted not to do her technique on this, but I can see it being used on other things. I'm not sure I would ever use smoky slate. I would not say never. I might use it on something that has more gray tones. With this pool party, or even balmy blue might even work, light balmy blue, just to go around and take the white away. It does look nice colored versus the white, but it just doesn't work with having the congratulations in the white, to me. So I just thought I'd share that tip. And I did a whole bunch of coloring, think I'm going to do it. And then the flowers here didn't look so good with the blue versus them being in the white. So it's all a matter of playing around, and like I say, it's only paper. Now, before I start attaching some of this stuff, I wanted to talk further about my thought process. Yeah, I know, you're probably thinking you don't think very well, Diane. And that's true some days. I thought about putting something in here and putting maybe some of the pears and stuff on the inside, but I thought, now I've hidden all that paper that I wanted to show. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll just use it on the outside. And maybe I'll cut it in half and just use half of it. And then I thought, no, I want the paper to show. And yes, I could have done the lemon lolly out of the center of the piece that I put in there, but I had already cut the lemon lolly before I thought about that. I thought about the white, cutting it in half. I thought about cutting it into a quarter. I thought about different things. And I thought, no, I just want the pears to kind of stand out on their own. I kind of like that. It's loose, it's light, it's airy. So we're going to go that way. Now, before I glue down, the pear that I chose to use for this card is the same pear that I chose to use for this card. But to me, there was too much of the green, and there was none of the petal pink or the strawberry slush. So what I did was I took my pear and I took the stamp that's in the set, and I got my strawberry slush and I topped it into the one side of the pear. And I didn't want the line showing, so I've been using these really thin things that I bought off of Amazon. I think it's a 3-pack. There's this color, I think there's a green and whatever. And I'm just dabbing away. I just find this is thinner than our chamois to do this. And I'm going to stamp down on the pear. That's ever so slight, so let's try it again. Again, I don't want the line from the ink pad, so I'm just going in there and taking a little bit away, and we'll do it again. I'm going to huff on it too. Okay, so added some of the pinky to the pear, and I like that. It makes the pear more three-dimensional. And I made sure I stayed away from the white, that I didn't get a whole lot into the white area, so let's just let that dry. Now the little flowers on the paper are all, they're nice, but they're very blah. So I thought, what can I do? What can I do? Well, inside that stamp set is, I'm not sure you can see them. There are three little, probably if I show you the stamp case, that would be better. So they're the little dots here. They would go into the center of the flowers here that are identically the same as those ones on the paper. Or what I probably could have done was taken this set and stamped the outside edges of the flower, but then I thought, no, I just want a little hint of the color. So I'm just going to ink this up, grab my flowers, and I think it's that way. Here we go. And now I have a hint of color in those flowers. You can see from plain to that. So I'm happy now. So let's assemble. I'm through with the ink. Before I wear strawberry slush, we'll put it away. The other thing I did with my pear, when it came to the leaves, I don't like the leaves sticking out. Oh, there's the white one. I don't want to glue the blue one. I don't want to have my sticking out. I want it to look like the stem is part of the pear coming out. So what I did was I took my X-Acto knife, and I made a little, on the pear there's a little white mark down in here, kind of a, I don't know what kind of a shape it is, but I'm just doing this on the round and just cutting into it so that I can put, I have to make that just a little bit bigger. There we go. That should work. Make sure it's through. And I'm just putting that down into that hole, like so. So now it looks like it's part of the pear. And all I do is flip that over, flip that little piece up, and put a little dot of glue to hold it in place. A little... Where are we here? Come on, glue. There we go. So I just want a little bit there to hold it in place. I'm going to hold it down for a minute so it sticks. And I just think that makes it look more like the leaves are in the stem are part of the pear. If you wanted, you could probably take your old olive or mossy meadow and just draw a couple of little half circle lines down there too, which will also tie it in. I'm not doing that today though. All right, we're almost done here. This is the fun part. So we have those. And I'm not doing anything to these pears. They already have a little bit of red on them, which works for me. And my flowers, so let's stick it together. So I took this and I made sure that any glue that I put on this And I kind of turned my pear rather than have it straight. I kind of just turned it on a little angle so I know that from the dots that are on here down, I'm able to put glue. So again, I don't need much glue, and I'm just keeping it to the center. Little dab will do ya. And I'm putting it on an angle, as I said. There we go, and I'm making sure that my leaf doesn't go over the edge because it might have problems getting into the card. And I'm not gluing the leaves at the top. I'm just leaving my leaves loose. Now I'm going to take my little pears and I'm going to put them up, not down. I don't like them down there. I like them up higher because my flowers are going to come in here. So again, I'm watching that. I'm going to make sure that my glue is in the lower part of my... I'm not gluing at the top at all. Everyone feels that they have to put a whole lot of glue on to hold a project. That's not true. If you're uncomfortable about the leaves, you could probably put a little drop on either side there, but stay away from the side that's on your area there. Okay, now I'll play around with my flowers to see where I like them. I like them right there. You can put glue all over this one because it's not on the acetate at all. Play around till you like your look. Put them down. I went ahead and stamped my congratulations because I knew that I'd be talking so much and taking a lot of your time. The congratulations is in here. It has hello, thank you, friend. A good friend is a gift. And it also has, and I did what I've told people not to do, is to stick make sure your stamps are upright. And I used the largest greeting die that's here. The little one is more for the hello. Again, I'm gluing it down flat. Sort of centering it. Now the fun part, the embellishments. I'm going to be using the low profile sparkle dots that came in the suite. We always work in groups of 3s, so I'm going to put one here. One there. Yes, I usually use my take-a-pick tool, but it's downstairs, so I'm not going to run down and waste your time getting it. And I'm going to put one there. And the top looked okay, but it looked kind of plain. In the die set is the one die that cuts out 5 flowers at a time. It's a little one there. So I use petal pink. And somehow my little flowers have gone astray. So luckily enough, I cut out extras because, oh, there they are. Well, there's 2 of them anyway. I'm not sure where the other one went, and I'm not going to waste your time looking for it because I did cut extras. Now these come with a little hole in them, so I wanted to kind of hide the hole. So what I'm going to do now is just take my glue, and first of all I'm going to try it on my scrap piece of paper first, so I know it's at the tip. And I'm just going to put 3 little dots of glue, 2 to start. Come on. 1, that's a little too much. and there to start. Again, my take picks downstairs, so I'm just going to make the best of my there we go. And I'm going to put another little dot of glue just over to one side. Yes, it takes a little bit of practice just to get a little drop to come out, but when you start using the liquid glue, you'll find all kinds of ways to apply as much or as less you need. Now they look pretty plain. I thought of using the same Secret Seed dots, but they were too big. So I had some rhinestones left over. And I thought, I'm going to use Michelle Corbett's trick, where she has now decided she has so many embellishments that she mixes and matches, which I think is a wonderful idea. And I'm just going to add those to the center. So yes, I have 6 embellishments on here, but there are 2 groups of 3. So I'm really kind of following the rules. Now I suppose you could color these rhinestones with your blending pens to maybe Old Olive, or you could do Secret Sea, or you could do Strawberry Slush. I'm just going to leave them plain. There we go. So that's the card. Now I'm going to also add the embellishments down there. I almost forgot. I wasn't going to, but I thought it needed something. But I wanted a lot of the red to show through. So I'm setting the embellishment to one side. I'm not making it to the center quite of the flower. I want some of that red to show through. You don't have to do this part. I just decided it needed some bling at the bottom. So I'm setting it to one side. I want the red to show. They look like stamens that are protruding out differently. And there you go. That's your card. All done. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I hope you'll give it a try. Get those window sheets out, or save your window sheets from your polymer stamps, and give it a whirl. Oh, I wanted to talk about the back side of this one again. Sorry. This one here with the spot, I thought I have some choices about what I can do. I could probably take one of the flowers. I thought about doing that and covering it up this way, but there's no pink flowers in this strip. They're yellow flowers. I cut out a couple of the little yellow flowers. I wasn't wild about that either. And then, I'm not sure where they went. All right, well, let's just go into the little package that I cut, because I was sure I had them set aside here. All right, it's all good. Okay, sometimes the pears on the side of the paper are not the greatest. So what I can do, and I don't want the white to show because there's already white there, is I'm quickly just cutting these pears. All right, and I don't want any leaves. I just want the stem, because these have been picked. And I'm just going to whip over there for a minute. And now I can cut down. Cut into that. I honestly had some of these cut. I'm not sure exactly what I must have done with them, but I'm sure they're stuck to something somewhere. So there's always ways to fix things. Like I said, this card was at the end. I could have probably played around trying to get this off with the trick that Darcy uses with the floss. And I thought I can probably stick a couple of pears at the top. And then I thought, well, that looks kind of lonely. So then I thought, well, I can take the pears that are here and I can probably cut one of the pears right off and put it at the bottom. Again, using the stip. And I'm using one of the ones that I colored with the pool party, because I'm cutting it off anyway, so no one will ever know there was pool party there. And it can go at the bottom, like so. So that's what I'm probably going to do on this card in order to hide my spots. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Have fun creating. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back next Friday with Project 3. Thanks. Bye now.